The Hollow Planet Contract. A sci-fi story. Part 1. The planet had no name, only a designation. RX-9 Theta, a cold, airless sphere orbiting a dying red dwarf. It wasn't supposed to be remarkable. The scans showed dense mineral strata, unusually uniform, with a core that promised enough rare metals to justify the 6-month haul from the nearest gate. That was all the corporation needed to hear. For the crew of the Prospector's Mercy, it was just another contract. Or so they thought. The first drill. The drill rig shuddered as it bit into the crust, vibrations humming through the metal floor plates beneath Chief Engineer Lisa Kessler's boots. She watched the readout scroll across her visor, numbers flickering in steady, predictable patterns. Density normal, temperature normal, seismic feedback normal, everything normal. Depth at 1.2 kilometers, reported Jace, her second-in-command, from the console beside her. Strata consistent with initial scans. No voids, no anomalies. Lisa nodded. Good. Keep the torque steady. No surprises today. She didn't believe in tempting fate. The Mercy's drill was a monster. 12 meters of reinforced alloy teeth, powered by a reactor that could melt through most rock like butter. It had chewed through asteroids, moons, and even the crust of a gas giant's shepherd moon once. RX-9 Theta was nothing special. At least not yet. The drill whined as it descended, the sound vibrating through the rig like a living thing. Lisa felt it in her bones. She always did. Drilling was a kind of communion, humanity forcing its way into the unknown, carving out meaning from the void. Depth 1.8 kilometers, Jay said. Still clean. Lisa exhaled. All right, let's push to 2. The drill descended. The rock changed. Not in composition, no, that would have been too easy. It changed in texture. The vibrations smoothed out, the feedback dampened, as if the drill had entered something softer, more uniform. Lisa frowned. Jace, check the density again. He tapped a few keys. Same as before, but the resonance is weird. Weird how? Like drilling into, I don't know, packed sand? But the density says solid stone. Lisa leaned over the console. The waveform was wrong, too smooth, too consistent. Natural rock was chaotic, messy. This looked engineered. Slow the drill, she ordered. But it was already too late. At 2.03 kilometers, the drill broke through. The rig lurched as the bit suddenly dropped into empty space. Shut it down, Lisa barked. Jace slammed the emergency cutoff. The drill whined, then went silent. For a moment, the only sound was the soft hiss of the rig's cooling vents. Then Jace whispered, "What the hell did we just hit?" Lisa stared at the readouts. The drill had entered a void, an enormous one. The sensors were struggling to map it, but the numbers were impossible. A hollow chamber, perfectly smooth, extending for kilometers. "Get the drones," Lisa said. The chamber. The first drone descended through the drill shaft, its lights cutting through the darkness. The feed streamed to the rig's main display, a grainy tunnel of rock giving way to a wall, smooth, curved, seamless. It looked like polished obsidian, but it wasn't reflective. It absorbed the drone's light, swallowing it whole. Surface composition? Lisa asked. Unknown, Jay said. No crystalline structure. No grain. No imperfections. Scan for tool marks. None. Lisa felt a chill crawl up her spine. So it's natural? Jace hesitated. It's too perfect. The drone drifted closer. The wall pulsed. Just once. A slow, rhythmic contraction like the flex of a muscle. What was that? Jace whispered. Thermal expansion, Lisa said automatically. Pressure differential. Something benign. But she didn't believe it. The drone extended a manipulator arm and touched the wall. The wall rippled. The drone vanished. Not physically, it was still there, still transmitting, but the video feed dissolved into static. The telemetry froze. The positional data flatlined. Only the audio remained. The faint whispering. Lisa leaned in. Increase gain. The whispering grew louder. Then she heard her own voice. "Lisa! Help! Lisa!" She recoiled. "Cut the feed." Jace killed the audio. The rig fell silent. Lisa exhaled slowly. "Send the second drone." The second drone descended. It vanished the moment it crossed the threshold. Its audio feed whispered in Jace's voice. Lisa clenched her jaw. "Send the third." The third drone didn't even make it to the chamber. It vanished halfway down the shaft. Its audio whispered in Lisa's voice. Corporate response. They sent the data to corporate immediately. The reply came within minutes. "Continue drilling. Anomaly is natural. Do not cease operations." Lisa stared at the message. Natural? Are they insane? Jace swallowed. They knew. They knew something was down here. Or they don't care. Which is worse? Lisa didn't answer. Another message arrived. "Do not discuss findings with NO and Essential Crew. Do not enter the chamber. Do not stop drilling." Lisa felt something cold settle in her stomach. Corporate never used that tone unless they were hiding something. "Prep the drill," she said finally. "We're going deeper." Jace stared at her. "Lisa, I know, but we don't have a choice." He nodded reluctantly. The drill descended again. The heartbeat. The deeper they drilled, the more the chamber changed. The walls expanded. Not metaphorically, literally. The smooth surface pushed outward, the void growing larger. The sensors showed the chamber widening by centimeters every hour. "Like it's breathing," Jace murmured. Lisa didn't correct him. The drill's vibrations changed too. The resonance shifted, syncing with a low, rhythmic thrum that vibrated through the rock. A heartbeat. Slow, powerful, ancient. Lisa felt it in her teeth. "Depth 2.4 kilometers, Jace said. "We're approaching the lower boundary of the chamber." "Boundary?" Lisa asked. "Yeah. The scans show another layer beneath it. Denser, thicker. Another chamber? Or a shell?" Lisa frowned. "A shell around what?" Jace didn't answer. The drill bit touched the lower surface. The entire rig shuddered. The heartbeat stopped. For a moment the world held its breath. Then the wall pulsed violently, sending a shockwave up the drill shaft. The rig groaned. Alarms blared. "Shut it down," Lisa yelled. Jace hit the cutoff. The heartbeat resumed. Slower now. Heavier. Like something waking up. The whispers. The audio feeds from the drones grew louder. They whispered constantly now, a chorus of voices overlapping. Lisa, Jace, the rest of the crew. Voices of people who had never been near the chamber. Voices of people who were dead. Sometimes the whispers said nothing intelligible. Sometimes they said things they shouldn't know. Lisa, her own voice whispered one night over the comms. "You shouldn't have come here." She muted the channel. But the whispering continued. Inside her helmet. Inside her head. The expansion. By the fourth day, the chamber had grown by nearly a kilometer. The walls were rising toward the surface. "Rate of expansion increasing," Jace said, pale. "If it keeps this up, it'll breach the crust in less than a week." Lisa stared at the seismic map. The chamber was no longer a void. It was a pressure system, a force pushing outward. "Corporate needs to see this," she said. "They already have." Another message arrived. "Continue drilling. Do not report further anomalies. The chamber is a natural acoustic formation." Lisa slammed her fist into the console. "Acoustic formation, my ass." Jace swallowed. "What do we do?" Lisa stared at the map. "We keep drilling." The second breakthrough. At 2.7 kilometers, the drill hit something new. Not rock. Not void. Something soft. The drill bit sank into it like flesh. The rig lurched violently. The drill screamed. The entire structure shook as if something enormous had grabbed it from below. "Pull it up," Lisa shouted. Jace reversed the drill. It didn't move. Something held it. Something alive. The heartbeat thundered through the rig. shaking bolts loose, rattling teeth. Then the drill released. It shot upward, nearly tearing free of its housing. Lisa caught her breath. What the hell was that? Jace stared at the readouts. The drill bit. It's gone. Gone. Dissolved. Lisa felt the cold dread settle deeper. The chamber pulsed again. Closer now. Too close. The surface tremors. The planet began to shake. Small tremors at first, then larger ones. The ground around the rig cracked. Dust plumes rose from the horizon. The chamber was rising. Seismic activity increasing, Jace said. Magnitude 4.2 and climbing. Lisa steadied herself against the console. We need to evacuate. Another message arrived. Do not evacuate. The operation is within acceptable parameters. Continue drilling. Lisa stared at the words. Acceptable parameters, she repeated softly. They're going to let us die here. Jace swallowed. What do we do? Lisa looked at the drill shaft. We go down. Jace blinked. Into the chamber? No. Beneath it. She pointed at the seismic map. Whatever's inside that shell, it's waking up, and corporate wants it. Jace hesitated. And you want to beat them to it? I want to know what we're standing on before it stands up. Descent. They prepped the descent pod, an armored capsule designed for deep shaft maintenance. It wasn't meant for exploration, but it was all they had. As they sealed the hatch, the whispers grew louder. Lisa. Her own voice hissed through the comms. Don't go down there. She ignored it. The pod detached and began its descent. The walls of the shaft blurred past, then gave way to the chamber. The void stretched around them. Smooth, black, pulsing faintly. Still expanding, Jace murmured. The pod descended further. The lower shell came into view. It wasn't rock. It wasn't metal. It was something else. Something organic. A membrane. Thick, veined, alive. Lisa felt her breath catch. Scan it. Jace ran the analysis. It's biological, but not like anything in the database. No DNA. No proteins. No cells. Then what is it? He swallowed. A structure. The membrane pulsed. The heartbeat thundered. The pod shook. Lisa, Jace whispered. I think it knows we're here. The membrane split open. A single, enormous I stared back at them. Part 2. The eye did not blink. It filled the entire breach in the membrane. A vast, liquid black sphere with no iris, no sclera. Just depth. Depth so profound it felt like falling. The pod's lights reflected nowhere on its surface. It absorbed everything, even the glow of their instruments. Jace made a strangled sound. Lisa, that's not an eye. Eyes reflect. That thing. The membrane pulsed around it. A slow contraction that rippled outward like a wave across a dark ocean. The heartbeat thundered. The pod shook. Lisa forced her voice steady. Ascend. Now. Jace hit the controls. The pod lurched upward, cables whining as the winch strained. The eye followed them, rising with the membrane, tracking their ascent without moving. No, the chamber was rising. The entire structure was expanding upward, pushing toward the surface like a bubble rising through water. Lisa, Jace whispered, if this thing breaches. I know. The whispers surged through the comms, louder than ever. You shouldn't have come. You woke it. You are inside. Inside, inside, inside. Lisa muted the channel, but the whispers continued inside her helmet, inside her skull. The pod broke through the upper boundary of the chamber and re-entered the drill shaft. The walls trembled. Dust rained down. The heartbeat echoed through the rock like a drumbeat of war. When they reached the surface, the rig was shaking violently. Crew members ran between consoles, shouting over the alarms. What happened down there? Demanded Captain Rourke, storming toward them. Lisa pulled off her helmet. The planet is alive. Rourke stared at her. Alive. Biological. A megastructure. A shell around. Something. Something that's waking up. Jace added. And the chamber is expanding. It'll breach the surface in days. Maybe hours. Rourke's face went pale. We need to evacuate. Another message arrived on the main console. Do not evacuate. The operation is within acceptable parameters. Continue drilling. Rourke slammed his fist into the screen. To hell with them. We're leaving. The ground shook violently, nearly knocking them off their feet. The chamber was rising. The breach. The first rupture appeared at dawn. A fissure tore across the horizon, a jagged wound in the planet's crust. Steam and dust erupted skyward. The ground buckled beneath the rig, metal groaning as the supports shifted. Lisa watched the seismic map. The chamber was now less than 300 meters below the surface. It's accelerating, Jace said. Expansion rate doubled overnight. Rourke paced behind them. We need to get to the shuttle. Lisa shook her head. The tremors will tear the launch pad apart. We need a stable window. We won't get one, Jace said quietly. The whispers surged again. You are part of it. You are inside the shell, inside the body. Lisa gritted her teeth. We need to shut it down. Rourke stared at her. Shut what down? The planet? No, whatever's inside it. Jace swallowed. You want to go back down there? Lisa nodded. We need to understand what it is, and how to stop it. Rourke hesitated. Corporate will kill us if we interfere. Lisa met his eyes. Corporate already killed us the moment we landed. The descent into the shell. They took the pod again, descending through the trembling shaft. The walls cracked and shifted around them, the rock groaning like bones under pressure. The chamber was unrecognizable. It had grown vastly. The smooth walls now pulsed with veins of faint, bioluminescent light. The membrane below had thickened, its surface rippling like the skin of a colossal creature dreaming in its sleep. The eye was gone. In its place was a fissure, a vertical slit stretching kilometers across the membrane. It pulsed slowly, opening and closing like a breathing wound. Lisa, Jace whispered. That's not an eye. It's a sensory organ. One of many. Lisa felt her stomach twist. Then what we saw was just a part of it. The pod descended toward the fissure. The whispers grew louder. Come closer. You woke us. We remember your shape. We remember your voices. Lisa gripped the controls. We're not going inside. But the fissure opened wider. The pod was pulled in. The inner chamber. The membrane closed behind them. Darkness swallowed the pod. Then light bloomed, soft, blue, organic. The inner chamber stretched around them, a cathedral of living tissue. Tendrils hung from the ceiling like roots. Pools of viscous fluid glowed faintly on the floor. In the center of the chamber was a structure, a sphere, suspended by tendrils, pulsing with light, a heart, not metaphorically, literally, a heart the size of a city. Jace whispered, This isn't a planet, it's a body. Lisa stared at the heart. A body built around something, a shell, a vessel. For what? The heart pulsed. The whispers became a roar. We are awake. We are many. We are old. We are hungry. The tendrils moved, slowly, purposefully, toward the pod. The revelation. The tendrils wrapped around the pod, lifting it toward the heart. The metal groaned under the pressure. Lisa, Jace shouted. They're going to crush us. No, Lisa said softly. They're examining us. The tendrils pressed against the pod's hull. The metal vibrated. The whispers grew clearer. You are small. You are fragile. You are tools. You are keys. Keys. Jace whispered. Keys to what? The heart pulsed violently. A shockwave rippled through the chamber. The pod's lights flickered. The tendrils released them. The whispers fell silent. Then a new voice spoke. Not through the comms. Not through the whispers. Inside their minds. You are inside a door. Lisa's breath caught. A door to what? To us. The heart pulsed again. We are not one. We are not many. We are the space between. Jace trembled. Lisa, I think this thing is a prison. The voice responded. We are not prisoners. We are waiting. For what? Lisa whispered. For you to open us. Corporate truth. The pod's console flickered. A new message appeared. Do not interfere with the core organism. The entity is a Class 7 exobiological asset. Your lives are expendable. The asset is not. Jace stared in horror. They knew. They knew exactly what this was. Lisa clenched her fists. They didn't send us to mine. They sent us to wake it. The heart pulsed. We are a gate. We open worlds. We open minds. We open flesh. The chamber shook violently. The membrane above them split. Light poured in. The chamber was rising toward the surface. The planet was opening. The awakening. The pod shot upward as the tendrils released it. The winch cable snapped under the force, sending them hurtling toward the breach. The membrane tore open. The surface sky appeared above them. Red, fractured, trembling. The chamber erupted from the ground like a colossal blister bursting open. The rig toppled. The crew scattered. The ground split apart. The heart rose behind them, suspended by tendrils that stretched for kilometers. Pulsed once. The whispers became a scream. Open, open, open. The heart split. Light poured out. Not light space. A void. A tear in reality itself. A gateway. Lisa stared into the rift. She saw stars she didn't recognize. Shapes moving between them. Vast silhouettes drifting through impossible geometries. Jace whispered, Lisa, it's not a creature. It's a vessel. The voice filled their minds. We are the door. You are the hand. The rift widened. Something began to emerge. The choice. Rourke's voice crackled over the comms. Lisa, Jace, get to the shuttle. Lisa stared at the rift, at the shapes moving within it, at the tendrils reaching outward. We can't let it open, she said. Jace nodded. Then we close it. How? He pointed at the heart. We destroy the core. Lisa hesitated. If we do that, the entire planet will collapse. Better the planet than the galaxy. The rift widened further. The first shape emerged, vast, angular, wrong. Lisa made her choice. Let's end this. The core. They guided the pod toward the heart. The tendrils lashed at them, but the pod's thrusters burned through them. The heart pulsed violently, trying to repel them. The whispers screamed. Stop. You are us. You are inside. You cannot kill yourself. Lisa gritted her teeth. Watch me. They reached the heart. Jace armed the reactor overload. Lisa, he said softly. It's been an honor. She nodded. Likewise. The heart pulsed. The rift screamed. The reactor detonated. Collapse. Light consumed the chamber. The heart ruptured. The tendrils shriveled. The rift imploded, collapsing inward like a dying star. The chamber fell. The planet screamed. The pod was thrown upward, propelled by the shockwave. It shot through the collapsing membrane, through the drill shaft, through the cracking crust, and burst into the open air. The shuttle's grappling arms caught it mid-flight. Rourke hauled them aboard as the planet tore itself apart below. Go! Lisa shouted. The shuttle launched. Behind them, RX-9 Theta collapsed inward, folding like a dying lung. The surface imploded. The crust shattered. The entire planet shrank into a single point and vanished. Not exploded. Vanished. As if it had never been there. Aftermath. Silence filled the shuttle. Jace stared out the viewport. Where did it go? Lisa exhaled slowly. Wherever the rift led. Rourke looked at her. Did we stop it? Lisa didn't answer, because she wasn't sure. The whispers were gone. But in the silence, she felt something else. A heartbeat. Faint. Distant. Waiting. The final message. The shuttle's console flickered. A final message from corporate appeared. Asset lost. Crew status. Terminated. Initiating recovery protocol. New target. Sector 12 Omega. Similar biosignature detected. Jace's face went pale. There are more. Lisa closed her eyes. No, she said softly. There always were. The heartbeat echoed in the distance. Waiting. Watching. Opening. This is the end of the sci-fi story, The Hollow Planet Contract. Leave a like if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more sci-fi stories. Thanks for listening.